doo-woppers here. Bum, 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 bum. Wise men say. Okay, one more. Thank you. I was wondering, does anybody use the black keys? Okay. All right, now, let's look at this list and just pick one off the list, next row. Pick one off the list.
Sharp 5.
Sharp 5. Okay, you pick one.
Sharp 9.
And you pick one?
Sharp 11.
Everything's going to be major? All right, okay. So we're going to do a Joe Henderson turn. Okay. All right. Can you do something in the minor category?
Phrygian.
What?
Go ahead. Phrygian.
Phrygian. Okay. Now that should be very, that's weird.
Brazilian.
Not that popular in Brazil. The aioli is much more popular. Actually 2-5. Okay, so now we picked 4 random notes and we picked 4 random chords, right? There's no reason this should sound any good. I mean, not a reason that we worked out, right? I need to turn this so I can see it. So let's try it. It probably will sound pretty random, you know. What do you think? It didn't sound that bad, right?
Yeah.
Actually, it sounded kind of good. Actually, if you had written that, it might have been one of the best progressions you ever wrote. Interesting, surprising. Let me try it again. As I change the top note to make it melodic, now it almost sounds like, right? Actually, that was the melody from Close Encounters, I think. Boom, 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 right? Okay. But nice reharmonization of that tune. You do my next record, you know, the theme from Close Encounters. But that must have been an accident, right? I mean, that shouldn't have worked. That shouldn't have sounded good. Let's just try it again. Right? Let's keep the same roots. Actually, let's keep those just so we remember what they were. C major 7, sharp 5, E major 7, sharp 9, A major 7, sharp 11, F sharp Phrygian. Let's try it with the same notes. Actually, even the 4 random notes you picked was sort of liberating, wasn't it? You know when you guys try to write tunes? Do you get a little stuck? Yeah, but here we picked 4 notes that had nothing to do with each other. And already there's like something going on. There's something natural going on because maybe we didn't pick so hard. You know? Okay, let's do it again. I'll start because nobody called Aeolian. That you got extra credit. C minus 7 flat 6. Okay, that's my choice. Pick a chord from up here. That's why you should have the menu because you don't want to forget all the chords.
F sharp 11.
What is it?
F sharp 11.
Sharp 11?
Yeah.
Give me a major sharp 11 or a dominant?
Major sharp 11.
Major sharp 11. All right. E major sharp 11. Okay. A. How about Phrygian? Just picking it. And I'll make the F sharp dominant. Okay? Just because you guys were picking a lot over the major chords, so. I mean, honestly, there was no knowledge there. I just pick, bop, 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 bop. You know, just pick them out of a hat if you want to. So let's see. Now we'll probably see that this stuff doesn't work. Seemed to work again, right? What's the odds? So what's the whole thing sound like? What What if that was the end of a tune, man? Check it out. So why do you think that worked? And this is why everybody, as long as you know what these chords are, and you have done voicing, you're at the 4th level, so that means technically you could voice a chord. Why did that always work?
They're pianists waiting. to
Don't
rearm.
you?
They're waiting to rearm. They're pianists.
Why does this always work? Why does it sound even nicer than the stuff you planned to do?
Because you played it, number one.
True. Why else?
But
Not
even-
you.
I'm not even joking though, because you.
I'm not joking.
A lot of times when I sit to play, it goes too fast. They don't know.
Well,
what
there's
it's
another principle involved there,
Yeah.
which I can explain. Huh?
Is it the voicings?
Close. That word is in the answer. Part of that word is in the answer. Voice leading. That's all it takes. You can, how do you glue 2 chords together? Glue is a half step. Even in your lines. That's how you make your lines. You glue them together with half steps. So you glue these chords at least half and maximum whole step. After that, there's no glue. You start to feel the separation. If you go, then it's like wallpaper. You see the crease. But if you go, then you cross over. The glue is the half step. And the same thing in voices. So if I just, why don't I just put the voicings down real fast? But I want to make more points about this. But just I'll do a couple of them. It's this simple to do. Your first, the first chord is the only place you have to make a decision. Let's say you want to do, I'll do it very simply. C major 7 sharp 5. That's it, right? There's nothing else much about it. I'll add another note. I'll add the 6th over here just to get a little more. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notes. Now, the only note you can't voice lead, obviously, is the bass note. I think I'll take this E. Now the A goes to G sharp. The B goes to C, right, because the sharp 9 usually uses sharp 5. The E will go to E flat, and the G sharp will go to G. All I did was voice lead. You all know what a half step is? You pick the note that's closest that also is a vital note for the next voicing. And this is what you get. Huh? Yeah, right. Or you reharmonize
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
Stella.
yeah,
You understand the power of that? I mean, that sounds absolutely right. It's just because of the, or I could have heard like brass with cup mutes. You know? Yeah, there's a lot. You could, well, the context comes later. One of the things you should understand is when you study harmony, you should study it in the raw. Just harmony and how it moves. You can always put a dress on it later. A suit of clothes on it later. I mean, out of this progression, I can make a bossa nova. Oh, you want a song Shine My Life? Or I can make a waltz, you know, one of those little intellectual waltzes, Mitch, that students like to write, you know. I'm putting different dresses on it. Or I can just chordalize each one. The other thing about modal chords, each one is a color by itself. Let's say I decide to make 8 bars of each one of those chords. Well, let's say 4. like a ticket into some very, very hip shit. And you understand it, don't you? Understand that you understand it. Because you're so used to coming in and out of so many classes that you don't understand, but you've already forgotten you don't understand, and you say, I think I understand, and you really don't. So understand that this you actually understand. It's really very easy. Any questions? There's a lot of powerful uses for this, besides writing a tune. I think I'm going to take that tune I just wrote. You were just recording, right? Yeah. I only write them when I give one of this lecture, because instantly, the context I put these chords in becomes like a tune. That's how fast you can write a tune. The melody is just little guide things that goes in and out of, depending on how much you want to stretch it out. And then I usually like to rest somewhere. Do you notice the end I was just going, the vamp? That vamp is so welcome emotionally at that moment because of all this uncomfortable movement. What's uncomfortable? The fact that you know it's not uncomfortable, but you don't know what the hell is going on. Why is this so tonal? Right? And yet it was completely abstract. I like that more than completely abstract. Because completely abstract I can kind of see, but this really engages me, like, what's going on, you know? And then you could have inner movement lines. So the power of the bass note, and then the choice of the type of chord, and then on the side, the voicing you choose, because that's what's going to determine everything. If I started with this chord like that, that's going to leave me here, but if I decide to do this chord, you know, voice it this way, what was the first chord? Sharp 5, right? Well, I'm using the sharp 9 too, I guess. Okay. If I voiced it that way, opened it up like that, that would lead everywhere differently. Okay? So now the E goes to here. The B can stay. The E maybe should go to D sharp. And the G sharp goes to G. And maybe I'll move the D sharp to C sharp, but it could stay on the C sharp too, on the D sharp too. And so you get this. Oh, you need a third, sorry. So the B would have to go to a G sharp. But you see, in other words, the voicing I choose on the first one would determine down the road. And when you're working on this voice leading, don't work on all of it. Just take one chord so you can focus on, study how it will resolve to the next. Just one chord to the next with half steps. You'll get more out of feeling the yin-yang of one chord leading to the next than you will just doing the whole thing. So it doesn't have to be the first two. Pick any two, you know? A major to F sharp Phrygian. So A major. There's a straight A major chord. What was this supposed to be? Sharp 11? Oh, yeah, sharp 11. So, yeah, D sharp, right. Okay, so if I'm going to Phrygian, maybe I'll go up just for spacing. The G sharp goes to G. The C sharp stays. The D sharp goes to D, and the B can stay. You don't just get two chords; you start to get a sound. This is going to be nice. Check this out. You know what I mean? It's something you rarely ever heard before, yet you now understand how to do it. Now, I suggest, before too much time goes by, you do it. Because otherwise, oh, I got to get to this one day. It'll become more complicated than it is. It's really very easy. And the different uses are, for example, let's say you do use a standard bass line. Here's one of the most standard bass lines. Now, you would think it's this. But if I change the type of chords, let's see. First one, let's say major 7, sharp 5. Then B flat, sharp 5. 7 sharp 11. A Aeolian. I mean C Aeolian. B flat sus. A flat major. G7. In other words, if I do this, here's the chord. If I do by constantly changing the type of chord, could you even tell that the bass line was always this? No, you couldn't tell anymore. See the power of understanding it as a 3 thing: the bass note, the type of chord, and possibly the melody. Actually, it's really just the bass note and the type of chord, but you voice lead it with the melody. Any questions? Okay, the other way around to this is by the melody. I could take, how do you reharmonize a tune? Like I said, a piano player used to sit like this, staring at his hands. If you keep changing the bass notes, then you are instantly reharmonizing the shit out of it, okay? So I want to go around the room, and I can't see it too good, so I'm going to change the trajectory now. And I'm going to play the song My Romance. Does everybody know that song? No? What's a song everybody knows?
They know that song.
Yeah, he doesn't know it.
He doesn't remember it because he came in late that day.
Oh, you actually played it?
We're in the key of C, yeah, we did that one.
It goes like this. Ring a bell? No? Well, it doesn't matter anyway. That's the way it sounds, right? You all, the rest of you know it? Okay. As you go, look at you, go around the room, give me any note, any bass note, and that will become the foundation of the next part of the tune, okay? So, just give me a note.
E
B? D flat? Huh? E flat? Any note. What?
D flat.
Huh? C? D. D? E? B flat?
G sharp.
Get the idea? The most outrageously reharmonized thing you ever heard, and you were forced to do it because you kept changing. You forced me to do it because you kept changing the bass note. But the bass note now I couldn't just do any chord over it. I had to do a chord that worked with the bass note and whatever melody note I was on. Did you see how fast I did it? That's probably not gonna happen. Unless you work with it, well, you work with it for a couple of years, it will happen. You have to say, I like this exercise more than a lot of stuff that's going by, and even when I get out of school, I'm gonna keep doing it, because over the years, it continues to yield so much freedom, harmonically. Harmony becomes as liquid as melody, this way, you know? I gotta play this way now. And people wonder, when I'm just playing solo piano, why I rarely go to the thing you think I'm gonna go to, because I always can move myself by picking another bass note. So if I'm just gonna play a solo piano piece, you know. And that's not all I do. I mean, I'm very emotional